Captain's Log, July 17th, 2026. Hello, I'm Captain Vile. Welcome, not welcome, just good on you, you've made it to Friday. Messed up the intro because it's been a bit since I've done it. Took a break from doing Captain's Log because I did it the 3rd, didn't do it the 10th. I intended to! Because I took a break from just YouTube while my computer was being set up. But just didn't do it. I just didn't have it in me, didn't feel like it. So I've now waited. So it's been a while. I mean, Captain's Log is a show that doesn't get updated that much. It's a weekly thing compared to everything else. It's daily. But yeah, no, if you miss one, then it'll be you're waiting a while for the next one. Oh well. So, what did I watch? I didn't watch anything in last week. I've been catching up on From Season 4, and it has not been getting any better. Well, some parts are getting better, and the bad parts are getting worse. Overall, I'd still say it's the weakest season. I am definitely going to make a video complaining about it, but anyway, movies I watched this week, my father's pick, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Now, I gave this 4 stars and a heart, and said, long, but a great watch. I didn't expect to like Tuco as much, but his partnership with Blondie grew on me. I've only ever known about the score to this film and references to the final standoff, similar to how you would know key details about The Godfather just by watching what came after, but there's so much of this film that gets left out when people talk about it. Easy to see why it's the Western. So yeah, I quite liked it. It's 3 hours long, which I did not know. But I'd say it's alright pacing. I liked it. I found it funny how they... Like, the movie is so long that they end up being tied into both sides of the Civil War. Like, they'll start off kind of tied to one side. It'll progress and progress. And now they're with the other. Like, I don't want to spoil too much of what happens, but it, like, so much happens in this movie. It's so long. Some of it is just, like, drawn-out scenes. Like, there's... The ending is drawn out, because it's very tense. But even after it's tense, and, like, the characters have gotten what they wanted, and now there's this last little bit for calling back. Like, that's so drawn out. It's good, but it's so drawn out. And you know what's gonna happen. And they still are like, is it gonna happen, or isn't it? And it's just like, just play the credits, man. We know what's gonna happen. Stop. Come on. It's like the usher at the theater. He's like, no, sit down, folks. There's something coming. Come on. I'm just like, I want to go to the parking lot, man. But I quite liked the kind of tit-for-tat, like, frenemy is maybe not the right word for Blondie and Tuco, but I don't know, I quite liked them. Also, imagine how insulting that would be. Like, oh, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's, I've got the perfect role for you, buddy. You're the ugly one. But yeah, no, I haven't seen too many westerns. The only western I think I can say I've seen is Rango, which, as I was watching this, there's, oh, so that's where they got that from. It's basically that. It's just, as I said earlier, similar to The Godfather. It's like, oh, so that's where that's from, huh? Oh yeah, that makes sense. Alright, media minutes over. Now it's just normal Captain Vile talking about anecdotes and complaining. And another thing, since I'm talking about the computer, you probably noticed the mic is different. It's echoey. I haven't looked into any of the settings. I assume it's because it's a new system and whatnot. But I'm not really sure, excuse me, why. Like, I never changed any settings when I changed headphones on the old computer. I just plugged the jack in and selected my mic as the source on OBS, and now it's as it sounded for 4 years. And now all of a sudden I change computers, and it's different. It's echoey. It's louder too. I'd have to like set for recording a video. I'd have my video mic at like neutral, no changes. And then I'd have desktop audio, which I record the games on, set to like -15, and then I go into OBS and I'd like raise it by 15 decibels, so my mic was 15 like decibels louder. So I had to like really raise myself, because I was recorded like super quietly. And for streaming, I'd like have a separate input, and I'd raise it by 10 decibels. But with this, it's like I'm already raised by 10 decibels at 0 additions. So I actually have to, like, for sometimes I have to, like, lower it by 2 or 3 decibels. So for streaming, I'll probably have to make the mic quieter. Like, I'm looking now, and it, like, occasionally dips into the red. Like, maybe I will have to lower this footage's volume. Odd. Tired. I'm waking up super early all week. So the heat wave, interesting effect. Like, I used to be, like, I wouldn't sleep. I was too tired and too uncomfortable. But now I'm going to bed at, like, 11 to midnight and waking up at, like, 4 to 6, and maybe to 7 at the latest. Like, I wake up super early. Go to bed early for me. Like, I'm typically, like, 2, wake up at 9. Or 8, I guess. But, like, no, now it's a bit different. I mean, the 4 was a fluke, because this was yesterday, I guess. Even though it was, like, I don't know. This was on Wednesday. I played it on Thursday, because I woke up at 4, but I set an alarm, or I didn't know, I took a nap at 5, because I was, like, tired. Because I had woken up at, like, I think 5 that morning. Not 5, probably 6. But I took a nap, and then I woke up at 11. I didn't set an alarm, mind you. I also didn't really intend to take a nap. I just kind of lied on my bed and just thinking what I wanted to do for, like, between now and dinner, or then and dinner. And then I woke up and it was 11 p.m. I was like, oh, god damn it. Like, that's kind of thrown a wrench into the work of my sleep schedule. So I went back to bed, and then woke up at 4. Or I went back to bed, woke up at 2, woke up, and went back to bed at 4. And couldn't get back to bed. And that was a fun shift. And that's another segue, as I'm going to be complaining about work a lot. I'm complaining a lot about work lately. But I've got a lot to complain about work. Work has been tedious. It just is tedious. It's always annoying. I apologize for the second yawn in like 5 minutes. Probably 2 minutes, actually. I've complained a little bit more. I complained earlier. Hang on, I'm gonna have some water. It's still hot, by the way. It's not as hot. I should refill this bottle, but this is like room temperature water now. Since warmed up being in my room. Annoying. Just like it's nothing weirder than drinking kind of like warm water. It's not nice. Anyway, managers, singular, is irritating. I call him the micromanager because he micromanages and is also short. And again, for I think the last captain's log, I said, like, Captain, aren't you worried about, like, your bosses finding these recordings and, like, sitting you down and playing them and going, so what's all this about? Wise guy? No, I'm not, because I'll deny it, and also they don't know I do this, and they never will. And, again, if they do find out, I'll deny it. Alright? You're not saying there can be two people in the world that sound similar? But he's just very, very irritating. He's very passive-aggressive with... He's not only passive-aggressive, he's also, like, very fixated on positivity, I guess. Because this happened yesterday when I was going in. When I was clocking in, he said, he's like, oh, how are you doing? And I said, good. And then he looked at me and said, good or really good? I stared at him for 5 seconds and just repeated, good, and then got to work. And it was just an irritating interaction that I'm no doubt going to have several versions of, because our shifts kind of overlap. Like, he's the morning manager. I'm fairly certain. I don't have to deal with him for more than maybe an hour. But still, that hour is just tedious. Because it's just his mannerisms and the fact that he's just always there for that hour. I couldn't imagine opening and having him be there for 7 to 8 hours, just having to deal with that annoying smile. The only benefit of this is I'm getting experience and anecdotes to accurately write an insufferable manager character. And I'll be able to put it to use somewhere. But that's thankfully the only irritating managers I have. I have some positive managers. And some managers, like I was speaking of voices just a moment ago, I have a manager, he's the night manager, who I've only, spoken to directly a few times. He's, always around, but he never talks. But, a few times I've spoken to him, or when I've heard him speak to someone, there are two things about his voice that are just immediately noticeable. One, he sounds, if you've ever seen the Animaniacs, he sounds exactly like Yakko Warner. It's distracting. And, two, he speaks so softly that, I never need him to repeat stuff. I can hear what he's saying, I can understand what he's saying. It's just that it's below room volume, but above a whisper, and it's like he's recording an ASMR video or something. It's so many similes, but it's just, excuse me, no water from earlier. It's just it's so soft, and it's Yakko Warner. It's yeah, it's Animaniacs ASMR every time he talks. But I couldn't explain to my coworkers what any of that means, because they just look at me like, "What are you talking?" I'd have to explain so much, and even then, I'd probably have some what the hell are you talking about, Captain? What? I don't care. Whatever. Look it up. Anyway, back to negative, because I love to complain. If there's anything I love in this world, it's the sound of my own voice. And to complain. So if I can hear my own voice just whining about nonsense, oh, it's heaven, baby. Alright. So not all of, but most of my coworkers are morons. I'm surrounded by incompetent morons for so many hours of the day. It is incredibly irritating. They are so bad at their jobs. and I have to pick up the slack. Especially, like, I spoke earlier about Frankenstein's monster, just bragging about being sleep deprived, but I have so many other irritating coworkers. Again, not all of them. Some of them are pleasant to be around. I'll have some decent small talk with them, and they're nice. They're also competent. See the connection between those 2 points. But I mean, I complain about work, but I must say it's such an inclusive environment. They hire not only the deaf, but also the deaf and blind. They have zero spatial awareness and will often stand in front of a counter or cupboard I need to get to do my job. And when I ask them to move, they don't even react or stare at me blankly. And when I tap them on the shoulder and say, "Excuse me, can you move? I need to get to that," it takes them 30 seconds to react to what I'm saying. And then that 30 seconds it takes them to react, that's 30 seconds I've not done my job, that's 30 seconds I could have done something else, and then that something else snowballs, and then I've got a lot more work to do, and that happens like 3 times a shift. Because that moron just stands there with their thumb up their ass, staring into space. Very irritating. No, just completely unaware of anything that is going on. It's just like, oh, I'm like, it's this particular coworker, and a lot of other of the coworkers I'm complaining about have this exact issue. But this one guy, this one idiot, it's every single goddamn shift with this guy. Every interaction I have, he is in the way, or unaware that there are other people in the space he's occupying. If, hypothetically, if human beings never evolved, and we were still in the wilderness, we were still being hunted, and we're not immediately at the top of the food chain, and the, more animalistic version of this coworker were to be drinking at some lake or something, and a twig snapped behind them. They wouldn't look over, they wouldn't flee into the wilderness, they wouldn't do anything. They would get mauled to death by a lion or some other predator, because their entire just worldview is, I am currently standing here and no one else is around, and it will be that way for the entirety of existence. There will be no change to the current situation. The path I'm going to walk down is unobstructed, and it will be like that forever because it is currently unobstructed. Why would it become unobstructed? It's just, would you open your goddamn eyes and use your peripheral vision to see that I am trying to get past you? Maybe use your goddamn senses to see that I am asking you to move, that I am tapping you on the shoulder, trying to get your attention. And I do think part of it is that this particular coworker wears earbuds in at work. Now, far be it from me to say listening to stuff while you work is bad. I mean, I don't want to alienate half of my audience right now. And I animate. If I didn't listen to stuff while I'd animate, I'd go insane, and I would kill people and myself. So, listening to stuff while you work is not the issue. But at the same time, it's a bit of a case-by-case basis. Because why, oh why, are you listening to stuff at work in a restaurant? How is your brain so fried and in desperate need of stimulation to require headphones for 7, probably more, hours a day in what is one of the most stimulating environments? People are shouting, things are just bubbling and boiling and going over, and your coworker who hates you is tapping on the shoulder and doing everything they can not to grab you by the ears and scream in your face. What more stimulation do you need? Do you have to be listening to music right now? Like, it's very irritating. I've so many other ways to say that, but it's just I don't care enough to put. They do not deserve my gift of gab. They do not deserve my eloquence or my vocabulary. They deserve to be described only as irritating, because that is all they are. I hate them. Those morons. Moronic idiots. Stuck with. One of them quit or got fired. I hope he got fired, but he probably quit. This guy kept touching my shoulders. Hated that guy the most because he was condescending and annoying. I mean, that's kind of he was condescending and annoying, but it's whatever. One of them is down. 2 left. Hopefully they quit or get fired. They're probably not gonna quit or get fired, but I can hope. Oh well. I don't know if I have that much else to say. We've had about 3 captain's logs in a row of me complaining about work. Let's shoot for 4. No. I do want to mention other stuff, but I just don't have that much going on. I mean, like, most of what I like. Oh, well, let me talk about the animation. I've spoken about the animation. It's coming along, but there's nothing I want to show at the moment because it's spoilers. So you'll receive your visual evidence, not just what my word isn't good enough. In a few months, on time, next update as well. I was pushing it with the last one. But in my defense, like okay, I've had a bunch of trouble with my computer, alright? I know that was like late, well, not late, but like that was into July by a bit, but but nothing, I don't have to explain myself. Oh well. It's so long since I've read the Meg. I just keep going back to thinking about that. I don't remember where I left off. I think I was at the 3rd chapter. They were at a party. No, he'd returned. No, it was at a party. Him coming home drunk was the 2nd chapter. Then they went to the party. Then he punched his friend for sleeping with his wife. And then he looked at pictures of the underwater base. Yeah. Yes. It's all coming back to me now. All that terrible writing. It wasn't all bad. It just wasn't very good. And there's 9 books of it. And maybe I'll read it all. Maybe I'll reread The Terror instead, because I like that book, because it's in the Antarctic and it has a giant, somewhat bear monster in it. It's got a weird kind of flashback in the middle, flash forward kind of, where he's like, interesting book. I listened to the audiobook first, and then I read it. The audiobook was interesting. There was one... I guess I've kind of recorded audiobooks. Somewhat. I am wondering... Because I do want to get a bit more into writing short stories. And there is actually... Okay, I'm going way too ahead of myself. I'm gonna trail back through that train of thought. Now I need to give me a moment while I do that, because I keep thinking about the first thing. Or the latest thing. So, I did the Sonic fanfiction that, like, the 2.5 hours. I'm counting that as an audiobook. But I mean, some other stuff. It's always so tedious to edit them, though. Because it's not, I mean, with video, like, yeah, you have to watch it to see what you're doing. But you can kind of skim through it. And, like, yeah, that's that part. But with audio, you can't do that. You gotta listen to it. And it's just irritating. Like, that was just a pain to edit. I mean, it's 2.5 hours. It was I did it in, like, one sitting. I think it was, like, a 3-hour session, and there was, like, half an hour of just, like, edits, and, like, or errors, and rereading stuff, and, oh, I like this take better. And I think one of my roommates interrupted me the first time, because I did it at, like, student housing. But the last year I was there. But I wanted to get more into writing, which I spoke a little bit more about. But there's another thing of, like, I wanted to get more into writing, but it's like, oh, I don't have that great of ideas. Or that, like, But does that matter? Does it have to be good? And I know that sounds bad, but there's a YouTuber decently popular by the name of Solar Sands. He's like an art guy. Mainly, I mean, he does a lot of video essays on, like, art and whatnot. But he also has a second channel where he does mainly his own stuff. And on the main channel, he uploaded an hour animatic, somewhat animated, animation of a story he wrote called Rudon's Plane. And on the second channel, there's the entire story, 2 hours. And I watched the animated version of the first half, and I was like, well, that's quite good. I quite liked that. The little differences between the animated story and the full thing. But I listened to the full story, and I quite liked it. But the thing about the animatic it's an animatic. It's like still images and like just moving, barely any color, barely anything above sketches. But it's done. He did the work. It's not like incredibly polished. It's not bad, it's just not polished. But I think there's merit to the fact that it exists. It's finished. He's taken pen to paper and pen to tablet and completed it. Because I get so caught up in, like, it being perfect that it never gets done, and that's not what's happening with Dynamite and Kevin. I want to be that is what happened with The Man Who Bled Gold, but that's not what happened with Dynamite and Kevin. But I gotta get that mindset into other mediums, because I'm adjusting to get it into animation, but I gotta get it into my goddamn, like, stories and live action short films that I should get back into making, as I've got a bit of free time. Maybe do some more up-name commercials or the the goddamn Garfield. I spent a summer and a half reading 500 and what was the exact? I'm gonna guesstimate 546. I think it was 560 something. Let's see. Place your bet, folks. Where is that? Alice in Wonderland themed journal. Here it is. In Wonderland, Secret Flowers. I forgot the combination lock code, so I just cut the lock off scissors. Where did we stop? Oh, 547. I was one off? Alrighty. 547 Garfield comics. I have 3 volumes of free Garfield books. So I have 9 Garfield books on my shelf. I read Garfield at Large and half of Garfield Gains Weight. I never got to Garfield Bigger Than Life. I stopped the project altogether when I really kind of sat down and thought, this is for maybe 5 minutes, if that, of footage. Like, I know that the research is, like, super important to the script, but writing it down is for a prop that's going to be used in one scene. But just so much time is in that short film. And even then, like, it's so many, like, different endings and so many different routes I could go. Because it's been, like, shelved for so long, it's changed what it was. Not fully, it's still recognizable to the first draft I had. But it's definitely a different thing. Oh, well. That's certainly not a short film I could get off with the limited free time I've got now. No, sir. I could utilize the costumes to do a kind of noir thing, but I'd have to, like, really... I think I just gotta kind of rework what the damn thing is and rewrite it. But I really want to utilize most of, and this is kind of why I'm so amused by the story of this specific short film so much, is most of this comes from the fact that I just hate Super Eye Patch Wolf and his stupid What the Internet Did to Garfield video. Because he's wrong, and he's not done the research correctly, and I just wanted to prove him wrong, because he's an idiot, and he sucks at editing, and he sucks at recording, and I don't like his videos. And they're too long, because he does stupid pauses, and, like, it's just, I don't like him at all. So yes, most of the reason for the Garfield video or short film coming to be is just me being a petty asshole to someone who doesn't know I exist. But whatever, that's my muse. So you know what, maybe it will get made one day, if I just remember how much I dislike that video and that particular YouTuber. One day, spite can do beautiful things in the wrong hands. Oh well, longer Captain's Log. A little bit more to say than just complaining about my damn coworkers, eh? Bum. So nice to be back. Maybe I will fiddle with the mic, make it sound like it does in videos before my computer fried. Maybe I won't, I don't know. I mean, it's different. It's a little echoier. I probably will change it, just because I don't want the... excuse me, that much, like, background noise. Because you can probably hear, like... just me, like, swiping dust off my, excuse me, desk. Got the hiccups, kind of. Drinking water too fast. Oh well. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Stay tuned to Gotham FM.